Good morning, and welcome back to the One Celtic Fans View. This fine Saturday morning, and there's no football. How are we all going to cope today with no football whatsoever? It's going to be rather interesting, isn't it? Let me just double check this. Audio, mic. Yeah, it's all good. It's all good in the hood, as they say. No, actually, I need to do this, don't I? Do this. Not that one. Sound isolation, just bring that down just a little bit, and that should be just a little bit better. Perfect, there we go. Right, lots of news this morning. Real Hitachi news, Kobe Donovan news. Should Celtic should Celtic save themselves millions of pounds and put Kobe Donovan as the backup needed for Alistair Johnston? The news came out yesterday that Alistair Johnston will not be in the frame until November. That's devastated for him. That's absolutely devastated for Alistair Johnston. When you look at Johnston's absence from the team this season again, is he going to be the new Cameron Carter-Vickers? Is he the new Cameron Carter-Vickers? I'm not too sure. Has he been unlucky? David Friel last night confirmed that Alistair Johnston will face an extended period out until around about November. It came out. I'm devastated for Ali Johnston. On a personal note, he's a fantastic player. But who does Celtic then go out and bring in? Do Celtic go out and pay the money for Nico Suga, who's more, he could be a utility type player for Celtic? I think that we maybe need to, but can Celtic save themselves millions of pounds in just using Kobe Donovan? Is Kobe Donovan good enough? Ryan says, I would rather use Donovan and spend the money elsewhere. The rest of the defence is solid around about him. It's an interesting one. There is a bit of breaking news yesterday that I did put up that Sky News broke that Celtic are closing in on a deal on a Bosnian international. He caught the eye of Martin O'Neill during the World Cup, and Celtic seem to have won the race for the Bosnian international, 21-year-old who scored 2 goals at the World Cup, £7 million. Seems fair money for a player that scored a couple of goals in the World Cup. It was suggested that he was on his way to Glasgow last night, or on his way to London to do the medical. He'll do his medical in London, as we all know that Celtic and big clubs all do their medicals in London for one reason and one reason only. It's easier to get a company to do the medical in London on quick notice than it is, and there's more medical facilities down there, private medical facilities, for obvious reasons. Anyway, 2 goals and 5 assists. Interesting. Was that in the World Cup? 5? Did he get 5 assists in the World Cup? Surely not. Did they score that many goals? I have no idea. I've just seen the stat that came up there. So let's jump into the comments section this morning and talk about the boy who's living the dream. The Celtic fan, he is living the dream, isn't he? Kobe Donovan is one of us. From ball boy to, Kieran Tierney did the same. There's pictures of Kieran Tierney when he was a young lad, and he was just living life. And Kobe Donovan, thank you for that, Ronnie, this morning. Kobe Donovan he's not a similar type of player, but I tell you one thing, if he turns out as half as good as Kieran Tierney, we've got another £10 million player on our hands that's came through the academy, and that can only be good. And for any younger players that are coming through the academy, they're going to go, this Kobe Donovan. It's not a bygone era. of your James Forrest, of your Callum McGregor, your Tony Ralstons. You've now got Dane Murray that's come through and Colby Donovan more recently. So that should give the younger players. It's yeah. 19-year-old right back. If he's good enough player, that's what I say. That's what I say, and I think that it will be a fantastic season for him, especially getting into the Champions League. I think if the Bosnian, let me just get some of these comments that are coming in. Apologise if I've not read it. I wouldn't want Colby Donovan to get injured, as we don't have anyone else but Ralston. Get another right back in. It says Raymond. Yeah, I can understand why we're saying that. But if you go out and you spend good money on Nico Sugar, what does that then do to the development of Colby Donovan? He's not going to get put out on loan. There's no chance of that. Celtic need to keep him at Celtic. His days of going out on loan are way past him as a player. I think that Nico Sugar would be good to bring in because he is a right back also, but he can also play in that holding midfield role, and he's more a utility player. He can play in defence as well. So it's a hard one, isn't it? Give Donovan a chance, but still need someone else in case he gets injured. So a lot of people are not convinced that Ralston's there. 2 goals in the World Cup. Could be the next Kieran Tierney. I think so. I think he could be a player that can go on to great things. He's not as... Once he starts getting his crossing, you've got to remember, he's a young lad, but he's got that pace, he's got that energy. And Colby Donovan, for me, is... I mean, when you look at how long he's been at Celtic, and he's won 2 championship trophies already. He's won the Scottish Cup and he's won the Premier Sports Cup. At 19-year-old, 6'1" right back, his valuation, now get this, I mean, he's only valued at 1.5 million, Colby Donovan, which is nothing, isn't it? But then again, at 19-year-old, somebody say, well, that's absolutely phenomenal. And as a player, he's never went anywhere else. He just came from the B team, the under 8, excuse me, the under 8 teams to the B team, and then straight into the first team. He's not went out on loan anywhere. So there you go. Just shows you. Not every player needs to go out on loan. Is it more luck in the position that you're in? Has Colby Donovan found himself at Celtic at a time where Tony Ralston was kind of back up to Alistair Johnston, and has Colby just went, I'm just going to go for it? Having a great attitude has obviously got him into the position that he is in with this Celtic team. I would say that we need a right back, a right centre back to replace Cameron Carter-Vickers. As good as he has, he's been caught out pace every single game he has played. I love the fact that we're now signing players who do both at the Champions League and World Cup level. This is how Celtic will progress. It's the only way. Have we learned from it? Right, here's the thought. I know that we were all against the board, and everyone was chanting all Celtic fans against the board last year. Everyone hated the board. Everyone wanted the board out. Have the board learnt their lesson? Has Martin O'Neill... Is it the Martin O'Neill effect? Here's the funny one, right? Because as fans, we will say, well, this is the Martin O'Neill effect. This is Martin O'Neill saying that we want quality over quantity. But Brendan Rodgers said that. Ange Postecoglou said that. Ange Postecoglou said, get the players in early. And if you're talking about four managers ago, Ange Postecoglou. Think about that. Is this the board thinking, okay, we tried to go down a road or a route where we brought in project players and we thought we'll spend this much money and try and get the manager to work miracles. And did the fright Because let's face it, we were 10 seconds away from losing the league. 10 seconds away from losing the league. If Hearts had scored, we had lost the league. But luckily we didn't. And went on to win 3-1. It was fine margins. Has the fine margins of last season, has the fact that they brought in Wilfred Nancy and it didn't work, has it made the board go, right, okay, let's get the number one targets. Now, Martin O'Neill has said there has been players that have not came to Celtic this summer. He's been honest about that. He said there's some deals that we just couldn't get done, obviously for financial reasons. Clubs putting up the price of the players and Celtic going, well, no, that's without our budget. We're not going to spend, 17 million on a player that was valued at 7 million in the last transfer window. You've added 10 million on in the space of 6 months, 7 months. It's just, it's way our budget. With Martin O'Neill saying that, something's changed at Celtic. And with that change, within boardroom level, within the background of Celtic, they've brought in these players, and it's got the fans excited again. Everyone's excited about the fact that we're playing some good football. We're bringing in some fantastic players. Martin O'Neill saying that he wants his legacy that he's now going to leave is he wants to bring in players so that the next manager is going to go, yeah, this is a damn good bunch of players. There's not going to be many Gustav Lagerbielkes and such like in the team that were brought in. Are they good enough? And the manager's going, they're not really good enough, mate. But really, they were good enough. All comes down to that. It makes the next appointment at Celtic even more incredible because we have to get a really good high-level appointment for the next Celtic manager. But let's not get too excited because Martin O'Neill has a Champions League game on Tuesday. Celtic have the weekend off. A week off. A week off. It's no a week off. It's just a weekend off. Anyway, Gavboy says another player not putting Celtic first and doing themselves damage elsewhere. Talking about Alistair Johnston. Do you think so? Do you think that Alistair Johnston didn't put himself first by going to the World Cup? He was fit enough, and was it necessarily the World Cup that did that to him? I think that's a lot of games between now and Christmas. God knows how long Alistair Johnston will be. They're saying it's November, for what I got told this morning. November's a long time out. I think the Bosnian will be Nygren's replacement. No, I think he'll be Arne Engel's replacement. I think that Benji Nygren is going nowhere in this window. Celtic would be crazy, absolute crazy. Talking about Rio Hatate. There's an update, but it's from fucking Muppet Head. Hatate was that's bullshit. I'm not even going to quote him because I don't trust him as a journalist. I think he just spouts shite sometimes. Anthony Joseph Sky has just put an update out. Give me 2 seconds. Got notification central when I go log into stuff this morning. Oh, listen to it. Listen to this. Rangers. Oh man, the club that keeps giving. Rangers declined to wear the UEFA Conference League badge because it contains green. The club leadership would do well to reflect on that decision. What example does that set for young Rangers supporters? What's next? Refusing to play on the grass. Oh my god. Honestly, what a disaster of a club. I hope they get put out. I hope they get put out the lowest league in European football. Imagine having to wear SPFL patches in Europe because you can't afford the new kits. Generally, so Rangers played with SPFL badges on their strips and not the Conference League, Europa Conference League badges. God, they just keep giving, don't they? Absolute shambles of a club. Some. How do you feel about this 18-year-old left back that's coming from Chelsea? Once again, it's a position that Celtic have failed to fill on a permanent basis ever since Kieran Tierney left the first time round. It's been a problem position since Kieran Tierney left. Yes, Greg Taylor came in, but the whole time that Greg Taylor was at the club, we never found a permanent replacement. You're talking, this is 2026, for goodness sake. And Celtic are still struggling to, one, bring a good left back through the system in over 6 years. That's negligence by the club. I mean, Adam Montgomery getting put out on loan again. That's the end of his Celtic career. He is not going to make it at Celtic. His contract runs out at the end of this season. Celtic bringing in an 18-year-old left back from Chelsea on loan. He had picked up an injury whilst training with Chelsea, and he's been allowed to recover before finalising the deal and the paperwork on a move, says Sky Sports yesterday. It says more about Celtic than anything that all these years later, that we're still having issues with that position. Let's get back to Donovan and see what you're saying. Kidkeeper says Donovan could be better. Donovan could be better than anyone out of the youth in the last 20 years. Wow, that's a big one because you've got players like James Forrest, you've got Kieran Tierney. He's better than Tony Ralston because he's keeping him out of the team. Yeah, that's a big statement, that one. Donovan has impressed me massively every Euro match he's played. He's done his job. He's only going to improve. Love his attitude. Baz, if Colby puts on a performance in Austria, for me, he makes that position his. Go on, Colby. You can really. All I'm going to say is, I'm going to go back to this summer, and I thought that he was one player that stood out in Portugal. Whilst there was players around him, more experienced players weren't. We've done well to sign the quality that we have, and the others linked just don't feel the board will sign a right back. Similar to keeping Dane Murray. Don't you think that keeping Dane Murray is a prudent move by Celtic? Because Dane Murray he's a decent player. He's learned over the years. He's definitely learned from that mistake that he made in the Champions League where he slipped all those seasons ago. I mean, that was a couple of seasons ago now. When you look at that, would you rather not keep Dane Murray and then, or would you rather let Dane Murray go and then go out and spend 4 or 5 million on a backup defender that's not going to be good enough and not going to want to stay at the club long term? Dane Murray will want to stay at the club. You have to be bringing your youth players through. And I think that Dane Murray is a player of decent quality for the SPFL. He would walk into any team. Dane Murray would walk into any team in this SPFL. Guaranteed. And he would get a starting position every single week. Easily. So I think that for the good of the Celtic Academy, it's prudent that we keep people like Dane Murray as backup players. Just I think. The guy from Split, midfielder, can play right back. Very morning, Stephen said good morning. Can't depend on Donovan. What if he gets injured? Well, we've got Tony Ralston. The board are top class. At the pure Gav is from the World Cup. I don't blame him. A minute ago, I got another one. A lot of people asking, how are you today, Stephen? We'll just jump back up to his comments. We're just going to fire through. Jesus, there's been loads of comments, isn't there? There we go. I think Donovan could eventually be as good as Robbo. Oh, wow. Well, let's not let him leave, because Robbo was worth quite a bit of money. And if he is that good, kid keeper, can he go then? Is he potential Celtic and Scotland captain material in the future? There's one. There's one for you. Tell me that in the comments, and once I get down to the bottom of the comments, we'll catch up. Not sure if it's sharpness, but Vigor's pace has definitely dropped off the start of the season, getting caught out. Celtic finally operating like a Champions League outfit in transfers. Ooh, says Joseph. If you're good enough, you're old enough. This is very, very true. Seager can play in midfield as well. Yes, I think that we should buy him just for that. Playing in that holding midfield role, allowing Callum McGregor to go. So now we're going to complain about signing new players. What a fantastic bunch of fans, Celtic fans are there, complaining about not signing players, and now we're complaining about signing players that are going to take Colby Donovan's position. We need players like Colby in the team. He knows what Celtic is all about. That, like Calmark, this is very true. Singular, I mean Seager, you mean versatile, and he could cover Donovan. Oof. That would be interesting. Seager comes into defensive midfield and cover for Donovan. I think so. Seager is versatile. This is very true. This should be Donovan's breakout season. If you're looking to bring in the left back from Chelsea, who is 18, surely Donovan should be given his chance. Says Scott. Yeah, definitely. I go back to the words that I says to him standing next to the dugout, and then I said it's a massive season for him, and I says I hope you have a brilliant season. I've seen something in him when I think back to watching Callum McGregor in his first season and his pre-season. I saw that hunger in Callum McGregor as well, and I said to people on the bus after the games, I was like, that was the games when we played them in Paisley, wasn't it? Played a couple of pre-season games in Paisley. And I thought Calmark's going to be Celtic captain one day. And I thought, like, shut up, he's just a kid, man. I'm telling you, I've never seen anybody come through the system in midfield that was as good as Callum McGregor for a long time. And I'm putting my neck on the line with this one, and I'm going to say the same with Colby Donovan. I think he's the next player to come through to really make a big impact, just like what Kieran Tierney did. To be honest, I was used Seager as a defensive midfielder. The Japanese boy for Southampton for right back. Ooh, that's an interesting one. Going back for another Japanese boy. Let me think. Liam says he loves utility players. We need someone who could play right back and left back. Donovan looks like a young Tom Boyd when he was a full back. Oh, Tom Boyd. Now Tom Boyd sold out and sits beside the board. Damn, you're a sellout. I've met Tom. Do you know the sad thing is, every time I meet Tom Boyd, it's at a bloody funeral in Fife. I've met Tom Boyd more at funerals and back home in Fife than I have, and anything to do with Celtic. It's unbelievable, and it's always in Lochgelly. It's always funerals being held in Lochgelly. So yeah, it tells you everything that you need to know about Boydie. Don't call him that. Chris Boyd. That the good Boyd. Donovan, I don't think, can put a foot wrong right now. Not even if he has a few F-ups. He's going to be a great player one day, and he can take it in his stride. Yes, he can that, and I'm sure that he will. And he's just living the dream, isn't he? I mean, you support the club all your days, and you want to go into the next level with Celtic in the Champions League. We should always be trying to strengthen Baz. Alistair Johnson is an injury prone. Ralston's legs are shot. If Seager can play in a few positions, it's perfect cover in my opinion. Yeah, I think it's great cover. I'm not saying that don't go for Seager. I think that Celtic should go for him, but we're talking about the young lad. it's a great position for Celtic to be in. Do you know, bringing in a player like Seager that can be a utility player that, do you know, if need be, you can put Seager into the holding midfield role. He might be absolutely phenomenal in that role, and then put young Colby Donovan in the right back, and then if need be, change Seager for the holding midfield role to the right back. Wow, Celtic are finding themselves in a position where they've not been for a while. Ralston might move on, might be the one to move on. I think that he will leave at the end of his contract. I don't think that he'll. I mean, is anybody going to come in and buy the Bricky? Let's be honest. He's he on from the outset. He was the one player that was Scottish or been at the club for a while. I mean, even Yang got an extended contract last season. Tony Ralston's in the last year of his contract, I believe, this year. And you're thinking, well, when all the deals were getting chucked out towards the end of the season, Tony's not getting one. Is his agent going, or is it Tony just going, look, I've been here long enough. I've seen Kieran go away, make plenty of money, come back. I love being at Celtic, but I'm at that age now where I wouldn't mind playing football every week. Because let's face it, Tony's not played football every single week for the majority of his career at Celtic, and that's disappointing for a player. I think that Tony will know I've done everything in the game, and nobody could take anything away from Tony Ralston. He's won everything in the game in Scotland. He's won trebles. You know, he's played in the Champions League. He's played in Europa. He's played at the World Cup. You know, he's done everything in the game. So from a football perspective, he's had a brilliant career at Celtic. He's had a phenomenal career. You know, for a player that's not a first choice pick. But do you stay at Celtic? Or do you get to this point and say, I'm 28-year-old, I'm going to go and play football. I can go down to England, go down to the Championship, I'd get a team down there, and I'll more than double my wages that I'm getting at Celtic. Don't know, Tony Ralston would get 40 grand a week, all day long down south. All day long. International player who's done it, definitely. Don't think they want to buy the right back. Though Seager being versatility probably suits. Seager as a must. He's so versatile. What you lot going to find life to moan about this season? I don't think there's anybody moaning this morning. I think that the chat's quite buoyant this morning. There's not anybody really complaining about stuff, is there? We have 3 right backs in the first team squad, and yeah, one of them's kind of man down. I've just lost that comment. Mate, behave. I'm not even funny. Just rage bait. What? That's just rage bait. What are you talking about, Liam? I can't even see that. Imagine Peter Lawwell supplying the Rangers team bus. It would get burned down with the team inside it. That's a bit much. Jesus, I should have read that before I put that up. Apologies to anybody that thinks that was a bit too far. And Martin, I trust to get the team into the last 16. Board's backing him now, says Stuart. Is that... I'm still... Would this have happened this season anyway? A lot of people were saying Celtic are holding back the money because they're waiting for the next manager. They wouldn't give Brendan Rodgers the money because they were waiting to give the money to the next manager. They brought in the next manager and it didn't work out. Was this always going to be this summer that Celtic were going to go, right, boom, pump in all the cash? Because let's face it, Brendan Rodgers had the players that he picked to come to Celtic. Because let's not forget, he signed off the 9 players the first season that they came into Celtic. They might have been earmarked already under the previous manager, but he signed them off. He then refused to play all the players, said that they weren't good enough. He then threw this team under the bus. Not even under the bus. He called them Honda Civics. He said that Celtic were a Honda Civic. The same Celtic team that could have potentially won a treble. Wilfred Nancy was just a fucking disaster. It should have been a treble last year. It says more about Brendan Rodgers than it does this Celtic team. And although the team's much changed this season, Hope the board don't punt him for 25 million. Donovan, let's hope not. I think he's got to be worth more than that. Surely. When's his contract up? Colby Donovan. It doesn't say when his contract is up. Let me just say. Colby Donovan. His Colby Donovan's contract only runs. This is a worry for Celtic. Colby Donovan's contract only runs until 2028. Wow. Only runs till 2028, so he's got 2 seasons left on this contract. Celtic this season, surely, if he has, even with I know we're at the beginning of the season, but when you've got a young 19-year-old player that had a fantastic Champions League qualifiers game, if he is in and around the team in Champions League and he's noticeably making a difference to the team and the squad, at 19-year-old, that's slim pickings for someone to come in and go, there's 5 million for Colby Donovan. Can Celtic afford to turn that down? And would Colby Donovan? I think Colby maybe would, but he'd be looking for a bumper heyday from Celtic. And the fact that he's only got 2 seasons left, for me, one of the first things that we'd be doing as soon as this transfer window opens would be give Colby Donovan an extended 3-year contract, so that we've got him on a 5-year deal, so that if anybody wants him, it's going to cost big money. That would be the first thing that I do. If you're Martin O'Neill and you're looking at all the other players, you're like, what is the situation with Donovan? Because he's starting to shine a little bit. Now, maybe with Nico Sugar coming into the team, it puts it on the back burner and it puts him out of the public eye as much. And then it gives Celtic a little bit of breathing space. But for me, I would definitely say, yep, Donovan, you look like you're going to have the potential. There's a 3-year extension. We're going to more than double, triple your wages. I mean, you're putting him on at 15 grand a week easily to keep him here at Celtic. I know that he could go down south and make way more. But anyway, that's an interesting one. Let's hope that the board don't put a 25 million clause on his contract. Hope Donovan keeps up his Baz is miles behind on the comments. Says Big Rab moaning as ever. You feel free to just start your own channel, mate, and do the comments and feel it. It's not rocket science, but reality. You're all having a good moan about each other, all talking to each other. No wonder I miss out half the comments. Ralston's due a testimonial. How long has he been in the background for being a squad player? Oh, there's a thought. Let's have a look and see. Well, he came through the system with Kieran Tierney. He came through the same year as Kieran Tierney. So he'll not be due a testimonial yet. Sure. Do you know what? Tony Ralston's won 8 champions trophies. 8 titles. He's won 4 Scottish Cups and he's won 4 Premier Sports Cups or League Cups. That's something else, isn't it? And his valuation is only 2 million. His last contract extension was in 2023. So he was given a big... He broke through... Oh, wait a minute here. He broke through the Celtic, because it's 10 years for a testimonial, isn't it? He broke through in the 2018 season. The 2018 season. 18-19 season. So he's a year short. Oh, you can't do that to a player, surely. Um, do you not just give Tony Ralston another year's extension? Give him his testimonial. Players these days, they use the testimonial money and give it to charity, don't they? They don't need it. It's not like the old days. But it would just be a little nod of the head. That's unbelievable. Unbelievable. Oof. Ralston's a fan. Maybe it gives him an extra 20% effort. But talent wise, he should have been away a few seasons ago. Say what you want about Tony. He's always there when you need him. Yep. We're not winning the Champions League. I know we're not winning the Champions League, but it's good you point it out. Do you think Gedimus' deal is finished? Yes, Jim. I think that one has been priced out of Celtics. Way out of Celtic. Ralston would run through brick walls for the club. Yes, that's. Is Malik's deal done? Yes, by all accounts. Where is it? Anthony Joseph put out last night that the deal is done. Well, he says that the deal was progressing, but it was only the structure of the deal that was still being finalised. And I heard that he was on his way to London last night or this morning to do a medical, but we'll wait and see. Give Donovan the chance, says Gav Boy. Half the fans are turning to that across the city this morning, are they? That's why I'm missing out half the comments. I'm just skipping through them. We are winning the Champions League, says Liam. Oh. I'm just trying to see what's going on in the comments. There seems to be a bit of, I would say, for his loyalty. Stephen says, give him the extra year. I think you should. Does it mean anything to players in this day and age about getting a testimonial? I'm not too sure. Keep a hold of young Kobe. He's only going to get better. If anyone can run through a brick wall, I'd be asking money for him. Ask the builder for money back. What's the latest on the Canadian signing? There's nothing as yet. It's all quiet. Celtic, Martin Neal's not telling his little reporters anything. Hatate, Balak hold out. Jesus. It's a bad window. It's not a bad window. It's been a good window. And I agree, if we get Hatate and Balak out, it's been a fantastic window for us. Anyway, still nothing more on goalkeepers. Now the goalkeeping situation, it looks like we're going to get the boy from Blackburn Rovers, which is an interesting one. I'm not too sure how I feel about that. That's another one. He comes in as a strong goalkeeper, but I think that's about it. With Amazon Prime, just send Donovan on loan to a team he will start to read. No, don't send Donovan on loan. Keep him in and around this. You send Donovan out on loan, and he's not going to be training with the first team. The standard of the training won't be what it will be at Celtic. He won't be going to the Champions League squads, travelling with the squads, getting that top level attitude. I think if you were to put Colby Donovan on loan, his career would just regress like every other one that's went out on loan. So I'm sorry with that one. I don't think we should put him out on loan. I think that he's good enough to be backup. Seagull won't be mentioned again until the game's on Tuesday, more than likely. And then Celtic will sign him on the Wednesday. Everybody talking about Balak and Liam. Please don't speak bad about Balak, the only person in the Celtic support that absolutely loves Balak. Anyway, right, that is me done and dusted for this morning. Sounding a little bit better today, aren't I? The sore throat has gone. No football today for Celtic in the SPFL. We look at the fixtures programme today. The SPFL website. We have Saturday games has been postponed. There's only one Saturday game, and it's a 5:45 kickoff. Dundee United versus Dundee. Ooh, be a tidy little game, that, a little Dundee derby on Premier Sports. I wonder if I should do a watch along on another channel. I wonder if we're doing anything this evening. I don't think we are, or maybe we are. Don't know. Need to ask the missus. Tomorrow. No, that's it. That's the game. There's only one game. Wow. There's only one game in the SPFL. Was there a game last night? No. What the fuck? There is only one game in the SPFL this week, and it is Dundee United versus Dundee. Rangers postponed their game against St Mirren, shite bags. Celtic, they're in the Champions League, so of course they're going to postpone a game because they're in the Champions League. The Rangers could have surely put out a B team to get into the Conference League in Europe, and Cammy Devlin gets sent off after 5 minutes. Who cares about them? It is all about Celtic. Weekend off for Celtic. What are you doing with your weekend off? It's unusual, isn't it, to have a little weekend off in August? It's like that. Gonna have to do stuff. Like, just stuff. Anyway, next weekend it is Celtic Falkirk, Hearts versus St Johnstone, Kilmarnock versus Dundee United. How is it all? What's going on with the SPFL websites? Gosh, honestly. Anyway, right, that's me done and dusted for this morning. Thank you to everyone who has been on the channel this morning. And Celtic are set to overtake Scotland's self-appointed coefficient kings. Celtic will be top notch in the coefficients league. Who cares? I can just get into the Champions League. I'm not caring about what fucking Rangers say. We don't care what the animals say. What the hell do we care? For we only know there's going to be a show in the Glasgow. Celtic will be there. Have a fantastic day, Celtic fans, wherever you are, all around the world.